Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om 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 Nithyananda
Nithyananda. Welcome everybody to another KAILASA Nithyananda Yoga ritual. During this Brahma Muhurta hour, we are going to continue exploring the various different asanas and their various components of this Sakala Vinyasa Krama. So if you are here live with us, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are joining us on Zoom, thank you so much for taking part of this authentic yoga ritual. As always, we'll begin by invoking the Master, His Divine Holiness, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam. We'll move on into ritualistic cleansing, after chanting the Shiva Mula Mantra, and declare our Sankalpa, our conscious intention. So if you are just starting to settle down, please take a moment to sit down onto your yoga mat. You can keep your eyes closed or open, whatever is most suitable for you. Bring your hands into Anjali Mudra in front of the heart center. Taking a deep inhalation, we'll begin with the Sadguru Bhakti.
Yanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurthy Anvatitam Gagana Sadrusham Sattvamasyadiraksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshi Bhutam Avatitam Dviguna-rahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami.
Next we'll chant the Shiva Mula Mantra, which is Om Ham Aum Shivaya Namaha 11 times, and we'll do this internally. So you'll hear this chanted externally for you to follow along, but the Shiva Mula Mantra is something that is an internal japa. So while you're performing this, manas, the Shastras say to avoid pressing the tongue up against the back of the teeth or the roof of the mouth. Let it sit idly in the center of your mouth without making any contact anywhere, and internally chant Om Ham Ham Shivaya Namaha, and we'll do this 11 times.
Om Ham Ham Shivaya Namaha. 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 Om Ham Ham Shivaya Namaha.
be moving into the ritualistic cleansing, Pachamaniyam. Please take your Panchapatram and Udharani, your cup and spoon. Taking 1 spoon of water, placing it into the palm of your hand with your index and thumb touching and the 3 pinky, middle, and ring fingers extended. We'll sip the water 3 times along with the mantra that is chanted externally. Let's take a second spoon. And a third spoon. And then you can rinse your hand. And then with the base of the thumb of the right hand, wipe the upper and lower lip from right to left 2 times. And we'll wipe off our hand, or rinse our hand. With the index, middle, and ring finger, we're going to touch just above the upper lip and lower lip, washing off our hand. And then with the index and thumb, you're going to touch the right nostril and left nostril. And then with the ring finger and thumb, you're touching the right eye, right ear, and left ear, washing off your hand. And then with the base of the pinky and the thumb, you're going to touch your navel, right chest, left chest, and then all 4 fingers and the thumb touching the crown of the head, right shoulder, left shoulder, and heart center. Wash your hand one last time. Next, we're going to move into the Sankalpa, the conscious resolution. So, the declaration, the reason why we're here. This is what the Sankalpa is all about. So, while we're sitting in this posture with our right hand on top of our left, both hands on our right thigh, hold your conscious intention, the reason why you're here today on the yoga, which is to manifest that state-based being and powers of Paramashiva, manifest Paramashiva, our ultimate self. So with this conscious declaration held within our awareness, strong intention being held, let us begin the Sankalpa.
Namo Pada Samasta Yuritakshaya Dvara Bhagavat Shri Nithyananda Paramasiva Priyatham Shri Nithyanandeshwari Paramasiva Shakti Sameta Shri Nithyanandeshwara Paramasiva Priyatham Cha Shubhe Shobhane Mohote Adya Brahmanaha Vidya Parade Shri Shveta Varaha Kalpe Vaivasvata Manvantare Ashtavimshati Tame Nitya Yuge Tatame Pade Jambo Dvipe Bharata Varshe Paradah Kande Meroho Rakshine Pashve Shakabde Asmin Vartamane Vyavaharike Dapavadinam Shashtya Samvatsaranam Madhye Vishvavasu Nama Samvatsare Dakshinayane Lakshmi Venkateshwara Dutta Tulamase Shukla Pakshe Dvarashyam Shukpanito Bhanuvaravasara Yuktayam Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra Vyagata Yoga Bhavakarna Evam Guna Visheshana Vishishtayam Asyam Shupavito Shri KAILASA Naradvara Shanta Shyamala Pita Buddha Shri Meenakshi Sundareshwara Krishna Swarupa Parashiva Putra Kumara Guru Manya Tulya Vatara Shri Parvati Stanya Pana Labda Divya Jnana Shishta Sakala Nigamagama Sarabhuta Dravida Veda Pravadne Shri Mad Paramashiva Karna Samarigara Mukta Maya Chaturashrayana Kiyamana Chatra Chamara Shri Chinnakahalari Samasta Virada Valyalankata Jnana Vinyana Chakravarti Sarvajana Sangha Sadhyo Nirvana Diksha Vyaya Avarga Varsha Vishrama Jimuta Paramata Kalavadisari Saiva Siddhanta Stapanacharya Shri Raja Hiraja Panya Maharaja Guru Kshaparasharyari Mahandakara Nivarana Jnana Bhanu Vikshana Vajochedana Purvaka Srimad Vrishabhadvajastapaka Shaiva Samayakatra Sarvanya Pita Ruda Shri Jagat Guru Shri Jnana Sambandhaneshika Swami Bhagisha Sundara Madhikya Vachaka Swami Ram Avatara Buddha Shri Jnana Sambandha Swami Punaruddha Shyamala Pita Sarvanya Pita Trinavaduttara Yashadagama Guru Mahasannidhana Arunagiri Yogeshwara Paramparagata Arunachala Sarvanya Pita Guru Mahasannidhana Kailasa Paramparagata Kanchi Kailasa Sarvanya Pita Trayasvim Shaduttara Vishatagama Guru Mahasannidhana Nityotsava Nityamangala Shri Kalyana Nityananda Kailasa Paramparagata Adi Kailasa Nityananda Pita Mahasamsthana Mahasimhasa Pita Shastra Sakshat Shri Parameshiva Samudbhuta Kailasa Paramparagata Vaivasvata Manu Ikshvakshu Harishchandra Bhagirata Shri Ramachandra Shura Sena Vidyari Anavachina Sarvabhauma Chakravati Paramparagata Chatushashti Yogini Mandita Chatushashti Sampradaya Pravataka Manidharma Shasana Surya Vamshaprapta Sarvanya Pita Surangi Samrajya Moda Vichitta Shudamani Sakshat Shri Paramashiva Samabhuta Kapila Mahaguru Prarita Mahavirvani Pita Ashtottara Sahasra Shri Mahamandaleshwara Sakshat Shri Paramashiva Samabhuta Shri Mahaganapati Samaramba Anavachina Pita Ishwara Guru Parampara Prapta Atala Pita Ashtottara Sahasratama Ashtottara Sahasra Shri Atala Pita Ishwara Dharma Mukti Svarga Pura Svarma Pita Trayo Viksha Guru Mahasannidhana Kailasa Paramparagata Ari Pita Sarvanya Pita Jagat Guru Shri Kailasa Punaruddharaka Shri Kailasa Paramacharya Srimad Paramahamsa Parivdavakacharya Varya Sachidananda Pranava Swarupa Shrodriya Brahmanishta Srimad Jagat Guru Shila Shri Bhagavat Shri Nithyananda Parama Shiva Shri Jnana Sambandhaneshika Paramacharya Swamina Prityatam Tesham Bhadara Vidyayo Bhakti Siddhyatam Guru Krupakadaksha Siddhyatam Khema Serya Virya Vijaya Agura Rudya Ishvayana Avidyatam Dharma Takama Moksha Chirvavida Pala Purushara Siddhyatam Samasta Rito Pasham Jatam Samasta Mangala Avadyatam Bhagavat Shri Nithyananda Parama Shiva Prasadena Sakutumbasya Jnana Vairagya Jivan Bhakti Pradyatam Shri Nithyanandeshwari Parama Shiva Shakti Sameta Shri Nithyanandeshwara Parama Shiva Avatara Bhuta Shri Sarvadeva Devi Swarupa Bhagavat Shri Nithyananda Parama Shiva Parama Shiva Shri Nithyananda Yoga Vyasam Karishye.
A little water, going of water, and wash our hands. And then, after doing so, just move your Panchapatram out of harm's way so not to trip over, fall over, roll over onto it and harm yourself in some form or another. And with that, we'll begin today's session, diving into the first part of the Nithya Vinyasa Krama, the second level sequence of KAILASA's Nithyananda Yoga. We just, you've been following along with us, we just completed the 108 asanas, the Sakala Vinyasa Krama. Today we're exploring from asana. Before doing so, we are going to warm ourselves up. And so, you can also stand up and rise into a standing position. And we're going to begin by rotating our heads a nice big circle. So bring your chin down towards the chest and rotating it all the way around. Nice big circles. Bring the crown of the head all the way around. Nice slow movement, whatever is best for you. While you're here, just notice how you're feeling. If you notice a little tension in any areas in particular, feel free to spend a little extra time there. Going nice and slow at first. And then we're going to rotate in the opposite direction. While you're doing this, you start to reach back and reach over and reach down a little bit further. You can notice the muscles and various different angles of which you're rotating the neck start to loosen. And from a neutral spine position, we're just going to tilt our head down, bring the chin towards the chest. And if you'd like, you can bring a hand or two behind the back of the head and just gently press down, using mostly the weight of gravity pressing down onto your hand, or you can also gently press down. And then we're going to do the same thing, but looking up now. So bring the chin towards the ceiling. You place your hand underneath the chin to support that and press up a little more, or you can bring a hand to the forehead. Whatever is most suitable for you. Coming to a neutral spine position again. We're going to rotate and bring the head to the side. So you can bring the hand on top of the opposite side of the head and gently pull down. Feel a stretch along the side of the neck. And again, I'm not trying to force anything too much here. Feel a gentle stretch, a gentle pull. And then head to a neutral spine position again and rotate to the other side. Feel a gentle stretch here. And then coming to a neutral spine position, and we're just going to turn our head and look beyond our shoulders. So turn your head to the side, start to stretch out a little bit more and more, almost like you're trying to look over top of your shoulder behind you. And then we'll rotate and do the same thing on the opposite side. Good. And then coming to a neutral spine position. Now we're going to bring our hands on top of our respective shoulders and start to rotate the hands to the arms, the elbows. Making nice big circles. Ideally, if you're able to bring the elbows all the way together at the front, that's what you're going for. If you're not able to, not a big deal. Try the best you can though. Make those circles nice and large so you're getting that full range of motion, opening up, sending blood through the limbs. And then we're going to rotate in the opposite direction. Same thing, try and bring those elbows close together. Spread them out nice and wide as you reach beyond you. Open up the chest. From here, we're just going to bring our arms back and forth across our chest. Just start to feel the blood flowing, rushing through the upper body. Good. From here, we're just going to open up our chest a little bit more. So you're rotating side to side with your feet a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. Swinging that upper body around. You have a stiff back. Make sure you're maneuvering gently through this. If you're feeling good and ready, feel free to intensify that twist a little bit more at the end range of that motion. A couple more times. So if you're feeling good now, you can open all the way up and around. That spine is nice and loose. Just a little bit more at the back. A little more at the back. Nicely done. Okay. From there, we're going to bring our hands to our hips and do some nice big circles. Starting to reach the hips forward and to the side and behind you. Good. And then rotating in the opposite direction. Again, same as other movements. If you feel like you want to spend a little bit more time in any specific area, feel free to do so. Making sure that your body is warm and ready. And if you're feeling any pinches, aches, or pains, you're giving yourself that time and space to open up those areas in need. Good. And then from standing position still, we're going to bring our feet together and slightly bend our knees with our hands just above them. And we're going to start making some small rotations. And then as you start to feel a little bit better and better through the ankles and the knees, that flexion starts improving, you can make those circles wider and wider, going beyond the heels, beyond the sides of the feet. Good. And then we're going to rotate in the opposite direction. Again, you can start small and then make your way around to larger and larger circles. Good. Coming to a standing position, we're just going to balance on one foot, lift up the opposite, and make some rotations with our ankles, with our toes. Almost visualizing drawing a circle with your toe, with your big toe. Trying to make that circle as perfect as possible. Good. Rotate in the opposite direction. You may find one foot easier than the other, one direction better than the other. This definitely will improve over time, just working on that coordination as we continue to go through this movement. We'll switch to the opposite leg and finding balance, rooting down through that balancing foot and drawing nice big circles with the opposite big toe. And then rotating in the opposite direction. Good. And let's just bring our hands together, pressing the fingertips up against one another. Spend a little bit of time opening up our wrists. Okay, so you can press one hand up against the fingers, keeping them vertical, open up the wrist, and then pull the fingers down, pressing at the back of the hand. Open up the forearm as well. And we'll do the same thing on the opposite hand. Fingers up. And then with the fingers down. Good. If you want to interlace your fingers and give them a nice rotation, moving forwards, backwards. You can squeeze your fingers together as well if you want. Nicely done. Okay. From here, we'll come to a seated position. We'll start to dive and explore some of these asanas. The beginning part of this sequence is a lot of different seated postures. And so while we're here, really start to incorporate the various different components of each asana. So as Swamiji has beautifully revealed, there are 12 components in an authentic yoga practice. So really encourage you today, we're going to emphasize to focus on the mudras, the bandhas, the pranayama, and the visualization along with the physical postures, okay? And as we go through these opening sequences, you'll notice that just like in some of the postures in the Sakala Vinyasa Krama, there may be a subtle difference even with the gaze as well, okay? So try and incorporate all these various different components as best you can along with the sequence. And since we are beginning in seated postures mostly, and it is wintertime, maybe you're feeling cold wherever you are, really embrace the first part of the sequence, which is the first pranayama incorporated within the sequence, which is the samana kumbhaka, which is visualizing heat, flames, raising and igniting from the navel center and rising up along the kundalini, along the spine, okay? So we'll begin with Yatasani Sthasana, which is a comfortable seated posture, whatever that means for you. So it's finding comfort and stability in both body and mind in a space, in a position that is most suitable for you. And so for a lot of us, that'll be in this similar Sukhasana posture, but maybe you have hips that are perfectly designed to be in Padmasana, and that's most comfortable for you. So whatever is most comfortable for you, you're going to be sitting in that position. That could be cross-legged, it could be straight-legged. It's really, there's no right or wrong here. We're going to bring our hands into Bindu Mudra, so our index and thumbs are touching. And with its tall spine, nice and elongated, almost imagine like you're having a thread being pulled up through the crown. You're going to keep Mula Bandha engaged. So seal the perennial floor at the base of the spine. And as you inhale, reminder, take deep inhalations, visualizing that heat and flames raising up along the spine, but then hold the breath. It is a kumbhaka. Every pranayama we're performing is a kumbhaka, meaning you're holding the breath comfortably. So at the end of the inhalation, after embracing that visualization of the heat raising up, hold your breath as long as you can, and then really start to feel that heat generate within you. Challenge yourself to hold your breath a little bit longer than maybe you would have normally in this posture or any other posture. Okay? Start to really imbibe and understand experientially the power of kumbhaka, the power of pranayama. When you need to, feel free to exhale and then catch your breath if you need to, and then you can re-inhale again with that visualization of flames and heat raising up from the navel center along the spine, along the kundalini, and then hold your breath again at the top of that. While we're here, we're embracing the visualization of Bhagavan, so of the supreme pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam. Connecting to him, bringing him into your inner space, establishing that deep feeling connection, that Shakti Pada with him. And we're going to cycle through this one more time with a nice exhalation all together. And then take a deep inhalation through the nose. Visualize that heat raising up along the spine. At the top of your inhalation, hold the breath. Double check that Mula Bandha is engaged, so seal the perennial floor. Hands are still in Bindu Mudra. Visualize Swamiji in your inner space. And the japa rotating in the throat center. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. And Yata Sanisthasana.
Paryankam tatsamakyatam yata samstam yata stitihi.
Nicely done. And slowly release that breath when you feel ready to and comfortable. Next, we're going to move into Sama Asana. So very similar setup in that we are still in a seated posture, still holding Bindu Mudra, but you can slightly adjust your positioning. So if you were in, let's say, Ardha Padmasana before, but moving into Samasana, we are specifically sitting in a cross-legged position that is like Sukhasana, okay? So adjusting your posture physically into the Sukhasana type position. You're going to keep Mula Bandha engaged. Maintain Bindu Mudra with the hands, the thumbs and index touching. Keep the spine elongated, and we're going to maintain Samana Kumbhaka. So inhale deeply through the nose. As you do so, visualize the heat, flames sparking from the navel center. See that Agni rising up along your spine, awakening the heat within you. And at the top of that inhalation, hold your breath, hold the Kumbhaka. And then double check that you're keeping Mula Bandha engaged so as not to release it as you're holding your breath, taking full advantage of the kumbhaka, retaining that prana flowing within the body. Keep Swamiji in your inner space. And when you need to exhale, feel free to do so. But then again, re-engage that same kumbhaka and inhale deeply, visualizing the heat and flames rising up within you. Okay? Again, connecting the Swamiji here, bring them into your inner space as we cycle through this Samana Kumbhaka, inhaling and exhaling at a speed and rate that is most suitable for you. But again, challenging yourself to hold your breath, to hold the Kumbhaka, and allow that heat to generate and awaken within you. Okay, so we all go through this one last time. We'll take an exhalation together, emptying out the lungs as much as you can. And then when you're ready, take a deep inhalation through your nose. Visualize the heat, the flames raising up along the spine from the navel center as you completely inhale. Once the lungs are full, close the breath, hold it. Engage that kumbhaka, engage Mula Bandha, seal the perineal floor, allow the prana to continue flowing, dispersing throughout your body. Feel that heat start to generate, stimulating all different areas of your body. Keep Swamiji in your inner space. And again, Om Nithyananda, Padma Shivoham is the japa rotating in the throat center in Samasana.
Idanim Garvininam Yogabhyaso Yajalago Sukha Prasavalabhaya Prochate Pratanepati.
Nice. Slowly exhale, release when you feel comfortable and ready. From here, we are going to move into Muktasana. So we're going to place the left foot, the left heel, just at the base of the groin. So right near the perineum, right near the genital region. And you're going to bring your right foot and place the right foot just on top of the left. Okay. From this position, you're going to bring your gaze down to the tips of the nose, and the hands are going to rest on top of the knees with the palms facing down. Okay. With Mula Bandha engaged, we're going to maintain Samana Kumbhaka. Okay, so this morning is very much a pranayama practice. The beginning part of this sequence is there's an emphasis on the pranayama, the emphasis on heating the body up, generating heat within us just through the visualization technique and the power of holding the breath. And so if you're feeling like this is too simple and this is too easy to perform, I encourage you to hold your breath longer, to hold your breath to the point where you're gasping for air at the point of inhalation. Okay. When you get closer and closer to that necessity for oxygen, necessity for air at the end of the kumbhaka, that is where the heat really starts to generate. That's where you really get the most benefits from this posture, from all of these different postures. Okay. And so with the gaze towards the tip of the nose, hands resting on tops of the knees, let's maintain that inhalation with the visualization of the heat, flames raising up along the spine, deeply through the nose, filling up the lungs completely. Noticing that once you're at the peak fulfillment of your lungs, holding the breath, feeling the heat start to generate through you. As we hold our breath, the tendency is we loosen our lock, our Mula Bandha lock. So re-engage Mula Bandha. Keep that sealed nice and tight. Imagine like a drain at the bottom of a sink or a shower and the water flowing down there. You want to seal that drain off. Allow that water, allow this energy to stay within us. Okay? With the gaze at the tip of the nose, you're going to visualize yourself as a sage, liberated by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, by Bhagavan. Okay, so in Muktasana, you are feeling liberated. So while we're in this position, as we take these deep inhalations and hold our breath and engage these bandhas, visualize yourself as being liberated, as being a living, breathing sage. And with this visualization, know that the goal is already achieved. Whatever the sankalpa that you created today, you were part of our collective sankalpa of manifesting Paramashivatva, manifesting our ultimate self. In this moment, embrace that manifestation. Embrace that complete state of mind, body, consciousness. All thanks to Bhagavan for liberating us and bringing us to this space. Okay, and so one last deep inhalation. Let's all go through this cycle together. Deeply through the nose, visualizing heat, flames raising up along the spine, along the kundalini. Keep the shoulders relaxed as you hold your breath at the top of that inhalation. Challenge yourself to hold the breath as long as you can. Keep the spine elongated. Visualize that thread pulling up through the top or the crown of the head, keeping your spine perfectly straight and aligned. Bring the gaze to the tip of the nose. The japa rotating in the throat center. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Visualize yourself as a stage. You have been liberated by Bhagavan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivoham. And rest in this empowered state and space that is Muktasana.
Nibhidyasi vinim sukshmam dakshine taragulpataha vamam yam yena gulpena muktasanamidam bhavet.
Nicely done, releasing the breath. And as we do so, again, we're going to continue breathing and inhaling in the same cycle, which is Samana Kumbhaka. So again, challenge yourself, hold your breath, hold the Kumbhaka as long as you can, comfortably. And from the same physical posture, the feet aligned as they are, hands resting on tops of the knees, you're just going to switch your gaze from the tip of the nose to the third eye. Okay, and so if you feel like that's best to keep your eyes closed for you in this position, nothing wrong with doing that. If you want to keep your eyes open, bring the gaze to the third eye though, either way. While you're here, same inhalation, deeply through the nose. Visualize the flames and heat raising up from the navel center along the spine, and then hold the breath at the top. Challenge yourself to continue holding your breath, to continue exploring the length of time. Maybe you'll start to notice that it becomes easier and easier as we go through these cycles. But either way, understand the power of kumbhaka, the power of holding the breath. So avoid just inhaling and exhaling at random or short intervals. Challenge yourself to hold the breath. When you need to exhale, feel free to do so. If you want to catch your breath with a couple inhalations, exhalations, nothing wrong with that. But ideally, you are going through this cycle of inhalations, holding the breath, exhaling, and then re-inhaling in the same way, the same cadence, okay? In this posture, we're visualizing Swamiji, still the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, in our inner space. In Siddhasana, very similar setup again, but remember to bring the awareness, the gaze to the third eye. And we still have Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham rotating in the throat center.
Stano myangitendriyo shaladrisha pashyam bhuvorantaram chaitan moksha kapata veda janakam siddhasanam prochyate.
Nice to be done. Slowly exhaling, releasing the Mula Bandha, relaxing the gaze from the third eye. Next, we're going to move into Siddhi Asana. So a very similar setup, but this time we're going to bring our gaze we've gone from the nose to the third eye, and now we're going to bring the gaze down towards the ground. Okay. While we gaze down towards the ground, we're going to support that gaze by tilting our chin down and engage Mahamudra Bandha. And so first though, we'll continue to inhale and exhale in Samana Kumbhaka. So another deep inhalation through the nose, visualizing heat and flames raising up from the navel center along the spine. Fill your lungs up completely. Once you're at the top of that inhalation, seal the perineal floor and Mula Bandha. Tuck the chin down into Jalandhara Bandha, and you're going to suck the stomach in and up as best you can as you gaze down towards the ground in Siddhyasana. Okay, again, same thing. We're trying to hold our breath as long as we can comfortably. So challenge yourself to really intensify the seals, so the bandhas, along with the kumbhaka, holding the breath. You should really start to feel the heat generate within you. You very much could be sweating by now within this sequence if you really engage the visualization and the kumbhakas authentically. Challenge yourself to be integrated, to explore your ultimate possibility here in these simple yet profound postures. We are seated in very basic positions, however, you can have a profound experience simply by properly incorporating these various different components that Bhagavan has so beautifully revealed to the world. Okay, and so let's all take a deep exhalation out of our mouths together. Once the lungs are emptied out, take a deep inhalation through the nose. Visualize the heat and flames raising up from the navel center while you're here. Once you're at the top of that inhalation, remember to seal the perineal floor first, then tuck the chin down so it's pressed up nice and tight up against the chest, and then suck the stomach inward and then up. This is our first Mahamudra Bandha within the sequence. So do the best you can to pull the stomach in and up while the chest or the chin remains tucked up against the chest. Challenge yourself to hold the kumbhaka, hold your breath as long as you can comfortably. When you absolutely need to, you can release the bandhas and exhale and then re-inhale again when you're comfortable and ready to do so. Okay, so we're taking those deep inhalations through the nose, sealing the perineal floor, chins to the chest, sucking the stomach in and up and holding that as long as you can and maintaining that same cycle while in this physical posture, gazing down towards the ground in Siddhyasana. Okay. And as we go through this again, same visualization in that we're bringing Swamiji into our inner space. Visualize that you're able to manifest all these various different powers and abilities because of Swamiji's initiation, because of Bhagavan's grace in your life. Okay, and so as we move through this posture, we'll all realign together, taking one final deep exhalation through the mouth, empty out the lungs, take a deep inhalation through the nose, start to feel that heat, see those flames raise up along the spine from the navel center towards the Sahasrara chakra. At the end of that inhalation, once the lungs are completely filled up, hold the breath, hold the kumbhaka. Once the kumbhaka is held, make sure Mula Bandha is engaged, seal off that perineal floor, close off that drain, keep that prana within the body, tuck the chin down into Jalandhara Bandha, and then pull your stomach in and up and really intensify the posture, intensify the position, simply by engaging these intense seals, these intense bandhas within your body. Holding your breath here as long as you can comfortably. When you need to, you can exhale and re-inhale. But if you can, hold your breath as long as you can, maintaining Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham rotated in the throat center as our japa. Visualize Swamiji in your inner space, blessing you, gracing you with the various different powers and abilities in Siddhyasana as you gaze down towards the ground.
Vamakada kiyadi jano, Shivani madita sakom natano, Dachipada kiyedi joyi, Medumadi lagave soyi.
Nicely done. Slowly exhaling when you feel comfortable and ready. Nicely done. You're starting to feel that heat and maybe even starting to sweat a little bit. Nicely done. That's what we are going for. That's what you could be experiencing. Again, simply from this specific type of pranayama technique we're doing, along with these bandhas and the powerful visualizations that we are incorporating. Okay? So keeping the legs in the same position. Again, we have the left heel is at the perineum and the right foot is on top. We're going to bring our gaze back towards the third eye. So we're gazing at the nose, then we gaze at the third eye, then we gaze down to the ground. Now we're gazing back up to the third eye, but we're rotating our hands into Bindu Mudra, so thumbs and index are touching with the pinky, ring, and middle fingers extended. Maintaining the same breathing pattern, deep inhalations, holding the breath, feeling that heat, visualizing the flames raising up along the spine, sealing the perineal floor. This time we're releasing Mahamudra Bandha and we're just engaging Mula Bandha. But make sure that you're relaxing your shoulders down and you're elongating that spine. Again, visualizing a thread being pulled up from the crown center, keeping the spine nice and tall and long. While we're here in Rudra Asana 2, we're going to be visualizing Bhagavan Rudra in our inner space. So visualize yourself as the fierce dimension of Shiva while you're sitting here. Embrace that eternal sense of powerfulness. Understand and imbibe those qualities, knowing that they are already within you. And with this powerful visualization, continue inhaling and exhaling in Samana Kumbhaka, moving through these cycles comfortably at your own pace. But again, challenging yourself to hold the breath as long as you can comfortably. And then when you absolutely need to, exhale and re-inhale again in Samana Kumbhaka, visualizing the flames and the heat raising up from the navel center along the spine towards the Sahasrara chakra. While we're here, you're still engaging the same japa, which is Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, rotating in the throat center. With one final deep exhalation altogether, let's make a final inhalation through the nose, visualizing the heat, flames raising up from the navel center towards the crown of the head. Fill up the lungs as much as you can. Once your chest is completely filled, remember to relax the shoulders down, hold the breath, keep the spine nice and tall and elongated. Visualize Bhagavan Rudra in your inner space. Embody that ferociousness as you hold your breath here and challenge yourself, exploring your ultimate possibility in this simple yet profound and powerful posture. Rudasana 2.
Vamacharana paridakshina rakhe, ek jugati asa vidhi dhake, Vama pagatale mahile kora, Dakshina geja baharale vora.
Nicely done. Slowly releasing the breath and coming to a comfortable breathing pattern so you can re-inhale and exhale at a rate that's comfortable for you. Next, we're moving into Santa Asana. So with the posture set up, you are sitting in the same physical posture that we were just in with Rudasana, with one heel at the perineum, opposite foot on top. This time you're going to adjust your gaze towards the tip of the nose again. And we are going to be switching the visualization. Okay, so we're switching the visualization from Bhagavan Rudra to this sense of tranquility and an unshakable nature. Okay, and so, again, as mentioned at the beginning of the sequence, some of these various different postures, whether the Sakala Vinyasa Krama or which is the first 108 postures, or the various different postures that come after that, the only difference may be the visualization itself. And thus, it's a completely different asana, even though it looks physically identical in many ways. But this is the power of samyama. This is the power of authentic yoga. As Patanjali beautifully states in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, by visualizing and performing samyama on an animal, entity, object, God, goddess, you imbibe and you embrace those same states and qualities. What Swamiji reveals is we're almost downloading and engraving that biomemory within us, establishing a powerful bioenergy within our being. And so while we're here, seated in this posture, with the gaze towards the tip of the nose, you can keep your eyes closed or opened as you do so, whatever is most suitable for you. Start to engage and embrace that visualization of feeling in a space of deep tranquility and a powerful, unshakable space and state. So feel that stability within you. And from this powerful space, this tranquil seated position, engage Mula Bandha, feel the perennial floor. And we're going to take a deep inhalation through the nose again, visualizing the heat and flames raising up along the spine as you do so. At the top of your inhalation, so when the lungs are completely filled up, hold your breath. Challenge yourself to hold the breath as long as you can comfortably and really start to feel that heat, that stress that you're applying to the body, naturally releasing more and more heat within you. When you need to, feel free to exhale at your own pace and rate. You can re-inhale again. Remind yourself as you go through this cycle to keep the Mula Bandha engaged, so sealing the perineal floor. And at the top of that inhalation, after you hold the kumbhaka, reestablish that visualization, feeling that you are in a tranquil and unshakable state. So even though you're seated and maybe challenging yourself and pursuing and going through that uncomfortable sensation of needing oxygen and needing air, try and reestablish and recenter yourself into a space of tranquility and an unshakable nature, despite the environment that you're putting and stressing the body with. Okay, and so with one final deep exhalation, emptying out your lungs, we'll all take a final inhalation together. Inhaling through the nose, visualizing the heat and the flames raising up along the spine, filling up the lungs completely. At the top of your inhalation, close off, seal the perineal floor, hold the breath, maintain this kumbhaka. Visualize yourself in a powerful, tranquil, unshakable state as you gaze down towards the tip of the nose. Om Nithyananda Padmashivoham rotating in the throat center. This is Shantadruna Asana.
Asanako gunamanaki kalkacha latam mechale.
Nicely done. Slowly exhale, releasing the air and the oxygen within you, allowing your breath to come back to a natural state. You held your breath that entire time. Great job. Nicely done. Next, we're going to be moving into Siddhasana 2. So in a very similar seated position, maintaining one foot placed over top of the other. You're going to bring your hands into Samputa Mudra. So right hand, left hand are cupped, placed one atop the other, resting at the navel center. From this position, we're going to maintain Samana Kumbhaka, inhaling deeply through the nose, visualizing the heat and the flames raising up along the spine as you do so, holding your breath comfortably, challenging yourself to engage and hold the Kumbhaka as long as you can, to allow that heat to really generate within you. Remember to keep that Mulabandha engaged as you hold throughout the Kumbhaka. And visualize Swamiji in your inner space. While you're here, the japa is the same in Om Nithyananda Padmashivoham, rotating in the throat center. This is the japa for the remainder of the sequence. So visualizing that rotate in the throat center amongst the other various components in visualization. We're overwhelming and overstimulating both the body and mind throughout this entire sequence. This is by design. It is a way of almost stressing the body into the state of Paramashivatva, overwhelming and overstimulating mind and body to the point where it has to unclutch deeper and deeper into this space of Paramashivatva, the ultimate consciousness. And so as we're here, remind ourselves what our sankalpa is, what our intention is today. And it is to manifest that ultimate space, that ultimate state. And you can explore that possibility, explore discovering your ultimate self with these simple inhalation and exhalation kumbhaka sequences, cycle. And with one final deep exhalation altogether, we'll take a nice long deep inhalation through the nose, one final time. Inhaling, seeing and visualizing the heat, flames raising up from the Agni center, from the navel center, coming up, rising up all the way through the spine. Hold your breath at the top. So once your lungs are completely filled up, challenge yourself to hold the breath. Check in one more time. Make sure Mulabandha is engaged and that it did not loosen. Ensuring that this energy flows and is retained within this vessel that we call a body. Maintaining Swamiji in your inner space. So connect to him, connect to the master. Feel Bhagavan's presence as you hold your breath. With these various components within us, challenge yourself to re-inhale and hold the kumbhaka as long as you can.
Rujukaya samasinaha siddhasanamudiritam prasarya bhuvi padautu doripya mangushtamadarat.
Nicely done. If you held your breath throughout that entire sequence. Exhaling when you feel comfortable and ready. Bring your breathing pattern back to a normal cycle and cadence. Next, we're going to be moving into Bandha Yoniasana. In this position, you can maintain one foot on top of the other. If you feel like you want to switch and rotate your feet, feel free to do so. If you want to shake your feet out for a moment, feel free to do so. Okay. We are going to be moving into a very similar setup, but this time we're really going to be blocking out all of our five senses using the support of our hands. Okay. And so from a seated position with one foot placed at the perineum and the other on top, we're going to maintain a deep inhalation through the nose in Samana Kumbhaka, visualizing the heat and the flames raising up. But after we hold that Kumbhaka, really going to intensify it even more so by bringing and utilizing our hands to close off all the various different ways of relating with the outer world, which is through our senses, which is through the sight, the smell, the taste, and the sound, the touch. Okay. So with a deep inhalation, first bringing that air in through the lungs as deeply as you can, filling up the chest, nice and tall. Once the chest is completely filled up, feel the perineal floor, and then you're going to bring your hands to your face, gently placing the index fingers over top of your eyes, then the middle fingers over top of the nostrils. You could press them down so you're sealing off that nose. And then you're going to bring your ring and fingers just above your lips and the pinkies just below the lips. And allow the thumbs to come over the ears and start to press the ears down, sealing off the sound of anything going around you. Okay? If you've already sealed off and you can't quite hear me, then that's okay. You've done a great job. It means you're closing off all of the senses as needed. If you can't hear me, when you need to inhale, just gently release that middle finger pressed up against the respective side of your nostrils. Take a deep inhalation again. Hold the breath at the top and then press down the nose, the nostrils again while you hold here. And while you're holding this position, make sure the Mula Bandha is engaged. You're still sealing off the perineal floor. Okay. And in Bandha Yoniasana, visualize that you are in the very womb of creation itself. Okay. And the sankalpa that we created at the beginning of the sequence is manifesting. It has manifested. See it and feel it manifested in this space of creation, the very womb of the cosmos manifesting whatever it is your desires are. Blocking out all the senses and all of the maya that exists around us. Reestablish yourself in that powerful space of creation, where all that matters in the universe is one's intention. And just with that intention in itself, the reality is thus manifested. So in this space, let's all take a final exhalation together. Inhale deeply through the nose. Visualize the flames, heat raising up along the spine as you do so. Once your lungs are completely filled, hold your breath. Keep Mula Bandha engaged. Gently press the index fingers up against the eyes. Seal off the nose, pressing the middle fingers against the nostrils. Ring fingers just above the lips, pinky fingers just below. Pressing the thumbs up against the ears, sealing off all of the senses. Hold your breath as long as you can. When you need to, open up the nostrils, take another deep inhalation, and re engage the kumbhaka, challenging yourself to hold the breath as long as you can. Continuing that cycle of inhalations, exhalations. And then when you're ready, holding the breath yet again, challenging yourself as you seal off the outer Maya, the outer world, and visualize yourself in the womb of creation itself, where your intention, your sankalpa, is first generated and begins manifesting. Establish yourself in that space in Bandha Yoni Asana.
Yatra Madhye Mahadeva Bandhayonya Yat Kritva Kecharo Bhutva Vichareti Shvaro Yata.
Good. And slowly releasing when you feel ready and comfortable. Bringing your breathing pattern back to a neutral pattern. Again, today is very much a pranayama day, so take full advantage of these asanas as we go through the sequence. The physical postures aren't changing much, but you should be feeling a ton of energy stimulating and making you feel alive, even though we're not physically moving all that much. And again, that's the power of you bringing your authenticity and integrity to each particular posture and its various components. Okay? Of those various components, one of the most important ones throughout today's sequence is that visualization. So make sure that you're visualizing the various different gods, goddesses, or states and spaces that you can. And as we move into Virasana, we're going to be imbibing and visualizing the very state and space of bravery itself. And so in this same physical posture, with the index and thumbs touching, rotating the hands back into Bindu Mudra, backs of the hands resting up on tops of the knees. You're going to maintain Samana Kumbhaka, so deep inhalation through the nose. Once the lungs are completely filled up, hold your breath at the top, seal the perineal floor, keep that prana rotating within you. Okay, with the Kumbhaka engaged, just double check that your shoulders are relaxed down and the spine is tall, and feel that thread pulling up through the crown of the head to make sure that the spine is nice and elongated. From this powerful position, you're going to visualize yourself imbibing and embodying the state and space of bravery. So feel brave, feel powerful, feel yourself facing your fears and your challenges, and being able to overcome those fears and challenges because you are brave. Establish yourself in this Vira position. When you need to inhale and exhale, feel free to do so. But again, reminder to hold the Kumbhaka at the top. From this position, the gaze is just straight ahead. You can keep your eyes open or closed, but if your eyes are open, you're just gazing straight ahead. And as you maintain the visualization and the various different components, just continue to bring yourself back and check that you're exploring and holding each component authentically. So sometimes we may Be focused on sealing the perineal floor and Mula Bandha, and then once you start to visualize yourself in that state and space of bravery, you may notice that you loosen up the Mula Bandha, and then you go back to Mula Bandha, but then you forget about the visualization. So all these various different components overstimulating the mind, challenging you to be in an intensely deep space of awareness. Having 25 heads of Paramashiva in order to understand the power of holding each component, almost juggling them all together simultaneously. But as you go through the sequence and get better and better at it, you start to notice and feel more and more empowered, and you start to feel the profound difference of what it means to perform an asana versus just the physical structure itself. Okay, and so while we're here, let's all take one final deep exhalation together. We'll take a deep inhalation when you're ready through the nose. As you do so, visualizing the heat and the flames raising up along the spine from the navel center. Feel that Agni radiating as it comes towards the crown center. Once the lungs are completely filled up, hold the breath and then seal the perineal floor. Keep Mula Bandha engaged. Okay? With the eyes open or closed, you're gazing straight. Visualize and establish yourself in that space and state of bravery. Feel brave. Feel powerful. Feel like you can face any challenge. From that powerful feeling, holding on to that, visualize the japa, Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, rotating in the throat center. So you're seeing Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham continuously rotating in that Vishuddhi chakra. Maintaining this posture, checking in to make sure that the shoulders are relaxed down, spine is elongated, chest is broad. When you need to inhale and exhale again, feel free to do so, reminding yourself to breathe in Samana Kumaka, visualizing and feeling that heat, challenging yourself to hold the breath, hold the Kumaka as long as you can, really feel the heat, feel the sweat coming out of the pores, simply from the breathing pattern and the visualization. Holding that state and space of bravery within you. This is Virasana.
एकं पादमतैकस्मिन् विन्यस्योरुनि संस्थितः इतरस्मिंस्तथा चोरुं वीरासनमुदीरितम्.
And exhale. And coming back to a comfortable breathing posture, breathing cycle that works best for you as we move into our next component, our next posture, which is Valmika Asana. And again, same physical setup here. The only difference is our gaze is switching up towards the third eye, and we're changing our visualization to the sage, the poet, the author of the Ramayana. While you're here, see yourself as Sage Valmika. Bring the gaze towards the third eye, whether the eyes open or closed. Keep the hands in Bindu Mudra. Deeply inhale through the nose, visualizing the heat, the flames, raising up from the navel center towards the crown of the head. Holding the breath. Mula Bandha is engaged. Challenge yourself to hold as long as you can. See yourself as Sage Valmika. Sit powerfully, beautifully, with the spine elongated. When you need to inhale and exhale again, feel free to do so at a rate that's comfortable for you. With this final exhalation, we'll take one last deep inhalation through our nose, visualizing the flames, the heat raising up along the spine, seal the perineal floor, so engaging Mula Bandha. Bring the gaze up towards the third eye, whether that means eyes opened or closed. Either way, Om Nithyananda Padmashivoham, rotating in the throat center, visualizing yourself as Sage Volmika and Volmikasana.
Dava Bhagaki Pagatali Punieri Haijoya.
And then releasing,
Exhaling when you feel comfortable and need to. With this cycle, we're going to be switching into maybe the best part of the day for most of us, which is that Shavasana. In Shavasana, we're going to be laying down onto our back. We've explored a powerful sequence of pranayamas today, so you should feel a ton of energy still within you. As you lay down onto your back, really start to notice that even though you haven't moved your body much physically, you still are very energetic. Power of pranayama, power of kumbhaka. As you lay down on your back, start to slowly unclutch more and more. Taking deep inhalations, deep exhalations at the beginning. Slowly allowing the breath to relax and calm down. Letting it come to a comfortable, natural breathing pattern. As you're here, start to scan and bring your awareness across your entire body. See if you can tell or notice any areas that are full of stress or tension. If you find any of those regions, just consciously relax and disengage and unclutch from that stress and tension. While we're in Shavasana, we're going to engage the Mula Bandha one last time and consciously pull and awaken the Kundalini Shakti within you, pulling it up from the base of the spine towards the Sahasrara chakra. Whether visually, metaphysically, whether you physically feel it or are seeing the Kundalini, awaken it and pull that energy towards the crown center. And then finally, one last unclutch, releasing any tension that may come with Shakti Chalan Mudra, and relaxing the entire body in Shavasana.
Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda 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 Paramashivoham.
Good. And from this position, start to come back into the body by taking a deep inhalation through the nose. Nice long deep sigh out of the mouth. Start to wiggle your fingertips and your toes. To feel the body as you rotate your wrists and your ankles. Bending your elbows and your knees. And bring your feet flat onto the ground. And when you're feeling ready, you can lift one knee up and then the other, pulling them towards the chest, nice and gentle. You can interlace your fingers around the knees if you'd like, and rock from side to side. Then get ready to lift the back of your head up off the mat. Feel the weight as you really start to come back into the body, squeezing the knees towards the forehead. And releasing the feet flat back onto the ground. You could roll over onto either side to press yourself up into a comfortable seated position. Keep your eyes open or closed, whatever is most suitable for you. Bring your palms together in front of the heart center. Bring Swamiji into your inner space. With a deep sense of gratitude, feeling connection towards the Master. We'll close this KAILASA's Nithyananda Yoga ritual with the Purna Mantra. Om Purnamadaഃ Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Bhagavat Sri Nithyananda Paramashiva Padukar Paramastu. Om Nithyanandam. Nithyanandam, everybody. Nicely done. Good job today. If you were able to follow along throughout this entire sequence in performing the various different pranayamas, mudras, bandhas, and visualizations, great job. If you joined us a little bit late, that's because we also started a little bit late. And so thank you for your patience, and we're completing for that delay. We did have a Maheshwara Puja early morning hours here today that overlapped with our initial start time. Tomorrow we will be back on schedule at 4 a.m. And so we do encourage you, as always, to join us via Zoom live so we can get some eyes on you and support you in your personal practice. Of course, if you're watching us and enjoying us live on YouTube or recorded and after hours, nothing wrong with that as well. Thank you for participating in today's session, and we look forward to having you in future Kailasa Nithyananda Yoga rituals. As always, Nithyananda, be blissful.
Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om 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 Nithyananda